Bonjour, bonsoir, dear friends. Welcome to JCB Live Wine Styles. Today we are with our fabulous friend Kenneth. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
So we have the master, the king, the cheese monger of the Oakville Grocery. He's the man that knows every cow, every sheep, and obviously every goat, and much more. He travels the world to feel the energy of the milk and the essence of what they have to offer. And today it's California Wine Month. So he didn't travel that far. He went to see some of our best and very best cheesemaker, and we're gonna offer to you a little tasting. But first and foremost, on every wine style, whoa! We open this baby because today we are indulging. Secret indulgence. Life is about indulgence. Life, Kenneth, is about excess. Him and I will enjoy those cheese before the end of the day. We can do it.
That's right.
Have you ever done it?
A whole wheel to myself?
Why not?
Only in secret.
Woo! This could be in the Guinness records, dear friends. So we are at Secret Indulgence, enjoying, and Kenneth, I need your opinion. This is a fabulous Napa Valley 2017 vintage Blanc de Blanc, coming from our wonderful Napa Valley estate.
Yep.
Chardonnay, with a dosage of 10 grams. So very delicate, as you could see. It doesn't look like a wheel of wine, but like a labyrinth. The labyrinth is the various entry to your heart, to your mind, to your spirit. And there's multiple entries, but there's only one way to get in. And this is what Kenneth is going to show us. So as you taste this wine, what do you think of it?
I think it's really wonderful. We have a nice bright acidity. That dosage is just perfect for pairing with cheese. And you mentioned goats. One of my favorite cheeses is a goat cheese. The Cypress Grove Creamery, they've been making cheese for over 10 years here in the valley, well, in Northern California. And their most famous is probably the Humboldt Fog. As you can see, it has this wonderful layer of ash down the center. Just beautiful, soft ripened, nice, and look at this, just gooey on the outside, nice and firm on the inside, and just delicious.
Oh, I have to
get you a
indulge.
cracker.
So those are the crackers as well we make at the Oakville Grocery, right?
Yes, so we have a whole line of crackers. We carry the 6 seed crackers, a classic sea salt, and a cranberry hazelnut. They're all very delicious, perfect for snacking, pairing with any type of cheese or charcuterie, especially the Humboldt Fog, or maybe if you remember from last time, the Mirabella. Any sort of soft cheese, you dip the cracker right in, and with a hard cheese, you can do the same thing. Just a nice little slice, just like that.
Yeah, that's for you this time. God, I'm still on the Humboldt Fog. What a fabulous cheese. So tell us more about the making of it and what it makes that cheese so unctuous, so rich, so voluptuous on the palate. I love your pairing.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan, dear friends, of goat cheese and champagne, sparkling wine, and Chablis.
Absolutely.
Because of that vibrant and elevated acidity in the wine that brings that radiation and that complicity with the cheese. We're looking for friendship here.
Absolutely. One of the greatest things about Humboldt Fog is not only the ash on the center, but you can see on the edge there's a little bit of gray as well. So most times people are looking for goat cheese, they'll get a chev, a fresh goat cheese that's maybe 7 days old. With this, they've aged it for a bit longer to allow it to develop a nice bloomy rind, similar to Brie, Briat Savarin, Délice de Bourgogne, any of these classic French cow's milk cheeses, but they've done it with goat's milk. So what that does is it tames down the gaminess of the goat's milk and really brings out that creamy, delicious, beautiful, unique flavor that is hidden secretly in goat's milk traditionally.
And as people in America love when you come to dinner or drink at their house, they love to have cheese. You know, it's really an American tradition. Maybe a German one as well, maybe in England. But in France or Italy and Spain, we typically don't do the cheese pre-dinner. We do it post-dinner.
Correct.
One advice I have is for all of you to dive into that humble fog, because if you really want to do cheese as you bring people together at your house, this is the perfect cheese, because it does not overtake, complement. It brings that California dream to your mouth, yes. Right? You want to taste more, you want to drink more, and you want to really energize your palate, right? To discover more.
Absolutely, and I don't think I could think of a better cheese to really exemplify Northern California than Humboldt Fog.
So, what would you like to tell us, Kenneth, about this movement of great cheesemakers in Northern Cal? It's quite exciting what's going on.
It's
right?
very cool. There's a really great amount of producers that are lesser known, and what's really cool is they're making cheeses that you would traditionally only see made in Europe. There's a cheese coming up, for example. It's a seasonal cheese, but it's a very well-known. It's called Vacherin Mondor. Mm-hmm. You know the one.
Of course.
So there are producers in California who are doing the same thing. Vacherin is very hard to get in the United States due to FDA regulations and similar restrictions. And so there are these people, there are creameries here in California that are making similar quality, similar execution, and amazing flavor, without having to worry about pasteurization, all of these
because
concerns.
The beauty here at Oakville Grocery, as you all know, we in the heart of Napa Valley,
exactly,
and Sonoma Valley in Hillsburg, so we have phenomenal locations where they bring you cheese every other day.
Absolutely, yeah.
You call, they hear.
Yeah, most of our cheeses that we get from California producers, I'm ordering them directly from the producer as opposed to from a wholesale vendor. Andante Dairy is one. Penny Royal Farms is another one. They have a whole little farm of goat and sheep. I was out there this time last year, actually, visiting the goats and trying their cheese. And
you call them by first name, I understand. You know them
yes.
so well.
Yes, absolutely.
See, that's a privilege.
Yeah.
Now, explain why the cracker is so important. So, I want Kenneth to explain, because we have the 6 Seeds cracker and the sea salt cracker. A cracker should not just be a vehicle to transport the cheese, but should blend with the cheese. So explain everyone the texture, the fabric of those two.
Absolutely. So the best part about cheese, you can't have wine without cheese, right? They will say. But you also can't have cheese without crackers. And the texture is extremely important. You have this wonderful, crispy, bite-sized crackers that carry the cheese as a vehicle, but then the flavor, a high-quality cracker such as this is something that's going to really just complement the flavors of the cheese. So you just want to make sure that you're not just buying Ritz, you're not buying some name brand, store brand cracker. You want to get something that's really good, that's going to really make your cheese plate shine.
And we made sure it was sea salt, fleur de sel, which is added very gently to this cracker. So you feel the crystals of the sea salt marrying beautifully with the goat cheese. And often, specifically in Europe, we add a little bit of sea salt on top of the goat cheese because they're mildly salted, purposely, so to your liking. In this case, the cracker plays the role. So,
right.
Dear friends, very important to think thoroughly about your pairings, because when you get a fine bottles of wine like these, you want to make sure that the whole theatrical experience for you and your friend is the highest. You need to bring apex, nirvana. You need to bring energy to the table, and it goes with the impeccable selection of cheese and wine pairing. So, Kenneth, I'll let you finish your bubble. Now, I'd love for you to tell us about this wine in terms of what it would pair well with, as it is a Russian River, but specifically Sonoma Coast Chardonnay.
Yep.
Evoluna, which really represents, dear friends, the evolution of the moon. So we love this wine from the county of Sonoma because it really brings that very phenomenal sunshine, however, light toastiness, richness, but really not too much. And that's the idea. With food, you never want the wines to be overly oaky, overly creamy, overly buttery, because then it takes over. And then it's not a marriage anymore. It's just a monologue. Right. Remember, this is music in your mouth. This is a collection of experience that have to happen in your mouth, where all your senses explode of pleasure.
Yeah.
So cheers to this.
Cheers.
Oh, the nose. Oh,
It's music to my ears.
I would want to sing on this new moon.
Oh my gosh. You know, the cool thing about Chardonnay, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, right? Unless it's butter. So, we don't want to have an overly oaky Chardonnay, but we do want to have a buttery cheese. And one of the best things about the Snowfields cheese is it is actually called a butter queso. Queso means cheese, butter means butter, right? So in this sense, too much of a good thing is actually a good thing.
Wow.
Which is really great. So when people come into the shop, they say, "Oh, I like cheddars. Oh, I like Goudas. I'm having Chardonnay. I was just, having some of our wine. What do I have?" And I say, Snowfields. You want the butter queso. You want this richness. In this case, we have a little shaving. You cut it into cubes or wedges or sticks. You taste the crunch. You have those little crystals that people love so much in cheese. I love so much in cheese. Yeah. And it just really makes the Chardonnay pop. One of my favorite wineries is out in the Sonoma Coast as well. The wines over there are just so
It's Deloach Vineyards, right?
Yes.
Of course.
Why would it?
We've heard of it before. He didn't want to say just to be overly publicizing us.
I didn't want to make anyone feel embarrassed, our new friend here. But, don't listen. But they make really good wines. The climate out there is just so great for making these Chardonnays have such a unique flavor.
Well, as you're talking about the location, where is this lovely maker of cheese here?
So,
I'm going to try a little more. I like how you cut it, by the way.
Thank you.
I like the cube, but I love the shaving.
You get one of these, and you just do a quick...
Yeah. Oh.
And it just comes off like a ribbon. Look at that.
And you know what I love about it? I'm going to show you, because you need to all see my tongue. It's a beautiful tongue, You just lay it, it melts. Just like a leaf of tobacco. Or maybe those fancy gums,
Mm-hmm.
But not that I smoke or eat gums, but I eat cheese. And this is amazing.
It's so good.
Wow.
With the wine?
So is it in Northern Cal as well, or in Southern California?
So this is a Northern California cheese. Brought in, it's all cow's milk. And it's pasteurized as well. It's just another really great example of an awesome producer.
That can pasteurize it still. There's full of flavors.
Yeah, I know raw milk cheeses are popular with people who are looking for something more complex or adventurous, but something like this is going to be perfect for you. Cheese
What's
board.
the aging of that cheese?
This is a year old. Yes, wow. So we're going 1 year on this. Just really nice, not too hard yet, but not fresh. It's not it's not semi soft. It's a perfect texture to just. I mean, look at this.
Unbelievable. This is like lace. But that's exciting, dear friends, because you may want to go to Gruyère, Emmental, Comté, the top guns of the European cheeses, whether you're in France or in Switzerland, or eventually, naturally, in Italy. But so much to promote in California. This is California Wine Month that we're very proud to highlight. And I'm always so impressed by all those great little producers. It makes me think of France in the 70s, where you make cheese. You have 2 goats or 2 cows, and you make a little bit of cheese, and suddenly people discover you, and it's a success.
Yeah, and then you have to buy more goats and more cows.
So tell us about those olives as well, because I'm so glad you brought those beautiful.
Absolutely. Would you like one?
Sure. That's the Oakville Grocery olives, right?
So we work with a company who does an amazing array of olives. Our charcuterie case is filled with lemon, citrus, Greek, Castelvetrano. We even have a couple of stuffed olives, one stuffed with a Point Reyes Bay Blue and one stuffed with a feta that's also from Bellwether Farms, all Northern California producers. These ones are the Greek green olives, so they're not quite as sweet and buttery as your Castelvetrano. I know the Castelvetrano is a heavy hitter in the olive world, but something about these green olives, it's just perfectly briny, perfectly fatty. I just imagine what olive oil comes from, but in a different texture. And
I love it because there's a lot of meat to it.
Yeah, you don't want a whole pit in the middle. You want an olive with a little bit of a pit. We also have pitted olives as well, so you can always come by and grab some of those.
Just to show you, again, dear friends, very important to show you the olives, because as you display for your cheese, a variety of things, and people love to put honey and marmalade and this whole thing, which becomes often a big mess on the table. Right. A few little things, very well chosen, very delicately chosen, are making a big impact. And, we've taken months to select the best olives that you recognize with the power of the pits inside. And look at the level of meat here. You have literally 5 millimeters worth of beautiful fabric within that olives. And I don't want to go on and on with the olives, but it's important, be again reminded that your friends pay attention.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not just the label of the wine, the label of your cheese. So on that note,
cheers.
Now we're going to go to our red wine, because we know the future of California is big, but what's your future? What's waiting for you in this next month, next 6 months, next year? We have a wine named Tarot. Tarot is your card reading future. You pick your card and here you are. So in one case of wine, Kenneth, we actually have, for the same wine, 12 different cards of Tarot. Those fantastic, phenomenal tarot cards that are here as well. So in this game of Tarot, you have 26 arcanas, as we call them, which can define your future. So let's look at this one.
What's funny is I was doing some divination this morning, and I saw wine in my future. And here I am.
Here it is.
How did you know?
And this is Le Battleur. So this is a very cool card, which defines in many ways your guidelines as far as your making and what you can transform within your own abilities. And there's maybe 5 or 6 questions. If you go to tarotwine.com, you will see and can eventually find out not necessarily your future, but a future that could wait for you. So this is, Kenneth, I'm so thrilled we're trying it together because I know you've picked a great cheese. This is a Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. We're drinking it with a crystal. You talked about crystal. In the cheese, in the salt, we got to have it in our glasses.
Absolutely.
Passion Collection, designed by us with Baccarat, the oldest crystal maker of France, and the best, by the way. So, Napa Valley Cab, you could see this is our new presentation. This is really the latest of the latest. Beautiful, deep gold color to really inspire you from that 15th century Italian game or intellectual exercise. So play with tarot, it's delightful. But you've picked with this something great. Yes. One of my favorite cheese.
So we've had a version of this in the past. Last time we had the mild version, but this is an old favorite coming back for a second round. It's the Oakdale Cheese Producers based out of Oakdale, California. And last time we had the mild version, which is about a 6-month age Gouda. It was very soft, still had a little bit of like squishiness to it.
That's right.
Always goes good with red wine, but this is the age. So they have aged this for a minimum of 12 months. You mentioned crystals. You can feel them pop between your teeth as you chew.
And we apologize, we're chewing in front of you, but you could see the excitement we have. So if we excited, you will be excited.
And maybe next time you can come chew with us.
So you've got them in dice this time. I really like it because I think you want, unlike this one, kind of the experience of going all around the mouth. Right?
Yeah, you got to work for it a little bit, right?
Yeah. As you circle the wine around the palate, you do the same with the cheese.
Absolutely.
So what's the aging again?
So minimum 12 months. When we get the wheels in the store, they're at that point they're about 14 because they're usually about 2 months in. And so what we do is we'll cut them for you, and then you enjoy it with wine.
That's right.
As simple as that.
It's very cool. You could shave it if you want to.
You could shave it. I'm a fan of the cubes because sometimes, like you said, you kind of want to work for it. You want to really experience the cheese in your mouth fully. Now, that being said, you want to have different textures. So I highly recommend when you're building your own cheese board, have a hard cheese, have a soft cheese, and have what I like to call a wild card cheese. Something that's different than the other two, but something that's going to really bring the whole thing together. We have olives, of course, a staple. Sometimes not as exciting as we want them to be, but they really deserve all of the attention you just gave them. And then, of course, almonds.
Well, tell us about this.
So almonds are some sort of nut. I understand people have allergies, but if you don't have an allergy, a nut on a cheese board is 100% necessary. It's the only thing that's going to really carry it all together, give you that extra salinity. The cracker has the salinity, olives, nuts, you have all of this salinity. A little bit of honey, yeah, sometimes. Maybe more for on the dessert side.
That's right.
I'm a big fan of the French and Italian way of eating cheese after dinner. But if you must do it before dinner, like you mentioned Americans like to do, then let's do it right. So olives, nuts, Marcona almonds.
So those almonds are from the Central Valley.
Yep. Salted, skins on. More complex, maybe a little more rustic, but rustic isn't always a bad thing, right? Yeah. More complex, more interesting, more exciting.
What a lineup, dear
delicious.
friends. Ménage à trois. Remember, threesome. It's always good to have a threesome on the plate.
Good things come in threes, right?
Well, that's what I've been told. I'd better experience life. It's about time. So, another thing, dear friends, we want to tell you. We've spent 1 year at the Oakville Grocery. And Barry was very involved with Jorge, our catering manager, as well as obviously Kenneth, to define the best ever hand-rolled, olive-based grissini. Grissini in Italiano si dice grissini. In English,
Breadstick.
Breadstick. So I'm going to have Kenneth. That's what I was hoping you were going to do. The sound is amazing. First, you smell your breadstick because most of them are fluffy, full of flour. It's terrible. This one is amazing. And we literally did 1 year of tasting.
Until you got the right one.
Olive oil based, Napa Valley olive oil, made locally, specifically for the Oakville Grocery. The maker is rolling them by hand, cutting them in long lines, baking them, and that's the result. So, dear friends, please, it's very important. Crackers, grissini. Bread is fine, but is very filling. So you want to be very cautious to have too much bread with cheese. Crackers is lighter, is more ethereal, and is certainly very interesting on the palate and goes very well with the wine.
Perfect complement to any cheese board. Absolutely.
So, dear friends, I hope you've enjoyed the wise advice of our cheese monger. Kenneth himself. You could call the Oakville Grocery. He will answer the phone and give you the best advice of what you're planning for your event, for your party, for your great wine tasting as well, because it's important to think cheese when you think wine tasting. And I want to thank you, Kenneth, for highlighting California Wine Month and the great California producers. Dear friends, cannot wait to see you soon.
Yep.